And Nas was like, "Yo, you made my favorite mixtape ever." He's like, "No one ever made a tape like that for me."
Holy
so
God,
he was like,
amazing.
Are you shitting me?
Okay, I'm reloaded.
Jeff London, DJ Jason Smith.
Here come the bang.
When the sun goes down, the music turns up. A whole new world opens up behind the velvet rope. Join us as we take you behind the scenes of the nightlife world.
Are you ready?
DJ Jason Smith, Jeff London. I'm the promoter. He's the DJ podcast, live from Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Jeff London.
41. Episode 41.
It's amazing. I love that.
Special guest today.
Very special guest. Not only a special guest, but also a very great friend of ours and somebody that we look up to and admire and can find inspiration in sometimes.
100%.
Yeah.
So we can do this right now.
Let's get into it, bro.
Interview with the one and only Statik Selektah. 2 decades of knowing this guy.
Yeah.
This guy has done, I'm proclaiming it right now,
All right, do it up.
more for hip-hop
Yes.
than people know.
Oh, way more than people understand.
He has never veered from hip-hop.
Stayed in that lane.
Many DJs have gone
yeah.
Latin route, have gone the top 40, have gone pop.
Yep.
This man is hip-hop.
Hip hop.
And about a year ago, close to this date, I met up with a DJ, A-Track, and we were talking about hip-hop. And he said there are 2 people in hip-hop.
Yeah.
And I claim this quote. There are 2 people in hip-hop. One who just passed away, rest in peace, K Slay. He said there are 2 people in hip-hop. There's K Slay and there's Statik Selektah. And I'm going on that quote.
Facts.
And I love that quote.
It's amazing.
So we welcome you, Statik Selektah.
Yeah,
Appreciate
one
you.
time Static.
Live from New York.
Live from New York.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The QB.
So moved over there, what, 04, 05?
Before.
Not to mention this man has had, you just coming off the radio right now on Sirius,
Yeah. Shade 45.
15 years, 17, how long you been on there?
Basically 17 years since I've been here. So
Damn.
I started probably 6-7 months in.
And the show has just changed over the years, you feel? Or it just stayed the same?
Well, it used to be, shout out to Clinton Sparks. It was his show originally with Smash Time Radio.
Yeah, that's why I remember.
I would do like the second hour. And then he kind of moved away from the hip hop shit and started doing more dance and club music. So
Sure.
I basically, towards the end of his show, I was doing the whole show. And then they asked me, they're like, "Yo, you just want to make it your own show?" Because Clinton was moving on. So it became Show Off Radio in probably 08.
Amazing.
Wow, that's awesome.
Do you think you have one of the longest, it has to be one of the longest shows on Sirius, no?
On Shade,
Yeah,
probably,
definitely
yeah.
one of them.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
one of them.
On Shade, right?
Definitely on
Shout out to
Shade.
Premier, who I know you said the K Slay Static thing, the A-Track said, but I don't know how you. Premier is like
That's the third one.
K Slay, obviously, who is definitely a big part of my experiences in New York City and dealing with the kind of hip hop I make and DJ with. K Slay was a big, just a big part of it. He was there for my whole journey and was always looking out for me. So rest in peace to him. But the reason I brought up Premier is because he just actually had his last show last night of his Sirius show. He's no longer
Shit. Yeah,
How long was he on for?
15 years. So
Wow.
I mean, I've been on longer, but I've been it hasn't been show off radio longer. So as of now, I might have one of the longest mix shows on there.
That's
So same with
crazy.
Tony Touch. Shout out to
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tony.
Yeah, of
What
course.
was it on
yeah.
Thursdays, too? Is it still on Thursdays, Tony's part?
I mean, he had the Toka Tuesdays.
Tony's on
Like,
Tuesdays.
yeah,
Yeah,
Toka Tuesday.
Oh, it was on Tuesdays. Oh, it used to be before. Yeah. I'm sorry. Your show used to be on Thursdays because not too many people gave me a shot in New York City, but Static and shout out Sammy Needles did, and I appreciate you so much for allowing me to come up and rock Shade 45 with you guys on a couple occasions, you know what I mean? It meant a lot to me. So
No doubt.
I
I've
appreciate
actually
that.
been on the radio on Thursday nights since I was 14 years old.
That's
I started
crazy.
in 1996 doing college radio by default, but it was really high school radio at Phillips Academy. I didn't go there, but I went to the high school in the town, and they had to let at least 4 people every semester have a show there. So I used to sign up, write my essay on why I should be there, and I would get it every time. So I was on the radio there for about 2 or 3 years. And then when I moved to Boston, I started doing 88.9 and Hot 97, eventually jamming. But I've been on Thursdays pretty much almost my whole life. So Thursdays are a special night.
It was amazing. So we're gonna do a little like wordplay action. I'm just gonna drop some words, and then you describe what it means to you. I think the first one, as you just said, is WPEA.
Yeah, I mean, that's my start with radio. I really it set the precedent for how I was gonna hustle my way through the industry, because I would literally call labels and tell them that my home address was the station's address, and they would send records to my house. So I was a high school kid getting all these records sent to his house, and I kind of did that through the mixtape game. I've always been hustling things, not in a sneaky way, just in a way that I can make it work and get the records heard and just finesse it,
That's plus, back then, to have a new record or break records was a little bit easier, and it was you still have that opportunity. We kind of lost that in the club scene, but you have the Shade 45 show that you could still break music, so it must feel great. And you've been doing it since you were 17. Breaking records is
14.
Big deal. 14. I'm sorry.
So when we talk about mixtapes, what does John Legend's mixtape mean to you?
That mixtape's crazy because shout out to Justin Springer, a promoter from Boston.
That's the one who got me started when we used to DJ. Yeah.
He's the one that got so close with John so early when he was working with Kanye, and literally while they were working on College Dropout, Justin had met him and got cool with him. And at the time, I had just moved to New York. I was heavy in the mixtape game, and doing his tape, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And it came out cool because he actually chose a lot of the records on it. It was a lot of classic soul. That's amazing. And all that. But looking back, it's bananas because I was the first one that would even do a tape with John Legend.
That's so crazy.
It was always one of my mom's favorites tapes too. Shout out to her.
Shout out to mom.
And same thing with Akon, man. I did Akon's first mixtape as well.
Wow, amazing. So again, speaking of mix,
and they're definitely in timeless mixes to this day. They're still relevant. You know what I mean?
Speaking of timeless mixtapes, the series was called Spell My Name Right. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, and then my first album was called Spell My Name Right. So I had 10 volumes of Spell My Name Right from 2001 to 2006, maybe early 2007. And then I called the album that because it only made sense. At the time, not many DJs had really done albums yet. So I was really looking up to Khaled. And me and Khaled were I was doing a lot of parties with him. He was looking out for me because I was on the radio, and I had known Khaled for a long time, but watching him put out albums independently with all those artists on it was really influential to me.
That's amazing.
Obviously, the blueprint for that for me was The Peacemaker, what Tony Touch did with his album.
Yeah, that's probably one of the first ones for sure, right? Because it was so hard to get albums done as
original
a
records
DJ.
is
Yeah,
different.
it's hard.
But the difference that I did more than anybody is that I produced and mixed every record on the album.
Wow.
Shout out to Khaled and Tony, but they didn't do that. So it's I was not only getting the artists to be on all these songs, over 35 artists on the first album, but I was doing the beats, doing the cuts, and mixing the records as well. So
amazing.
I had to go from 0 to 100 because before that I wasn't known for my beats like that. I had a couple placements, but that album was my calling card.
So we're going on that. Actually, we mentioned Justin Springer, love Justin, everything like that. SW1, you remember that?
Yeah, that was
51 Winter Street, Boston, downtown. Remember?
SW1.
Remember?
Was it next to
It was downstairs.
Oh wait, no, it was next to Dino's, right? In Chinatown?
No, it wasn't in Chinatown. It was in Downtown Crossing. It was one of those spots.
Was Sugar Shack next to Sugar Shack?
No, not the, it was on Winter Street, Downtown Crossing, and Justin Springer was running, and it was this tiny little club, and you had to go downstairs, and it was dope.
Across from Hip Zeppy.
Yes,
there you go.
I do remember.
Third time's a charm.
That's where I met John Legend.
And he was.
That's crazy.
And I was DJing, and that was the first time I ever saw Statik DJ. It must have been 01 or something like that.
Man,
yeah,
that's crazy.
And it was this little, probably hold 100 people, and Justin Springer was the promoter, and he had Statik come, and it was this little dope spot.
Yeah,
It was
I like little dope little spots.
I got
like
a crazy story about that club.
Please.
One time, R. Kelly came to the club.
Do you-
And this
Well, he just
shows-
got.
By
He
the
just
way,
got
he
30
got
years
30
just
years.
now.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
I don't want to start talking about
No,
that. But
yeah,
listen,
let's
please.
go.
Yeah.
listen, R. Kelly came to the club. This shows how ridiculous Boston can be, though. Because, like those days, there was dress code and all that.
Oh
it was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Bro, this dude shows up wearing a Celtics uniform, like repping for Boston.
Yeah,
and they wouldn't let him in the club because he didn't have pants on.
No
And this is when
way.
R. Kelly was like,
King
that's the
of
most
the-
Boston shit of all time.
Yeah.
Like,
I always
you show-
I told this story all the time. Busta Rhymes wasn't allowed in the club because of shorts, and he did in the third person. Are you not going to allow Busta Rhymes in the club?
Busta's special.
no, but I mean, that's just some classic Boston shit right there. But that's my memory from SW1.
That's crazy.
So then we'll go from SW1. We'll go to one more. It's Bill's Bar.
I was going there for like underground rap shows.
Mm-hmm.
I started going there for the club nights that Bruno was doing. That was different.
Shout out to Bruno.
And
Bruno Dreads or DJ Bruno? Or both?
nah, DJ Bruno.
Oh,
Shout out
yeah.
to Bruno Dreads.
Shout
though.
out to- yeah.
I had an epiphany in Bill's Bar one night. So I was doing
Tell
a lot
us.
of DJ. I was doing a lot of DJs battles in high school, and I would win a lot of them. And my mom wouldn't let me really travel that far to go to the finals a lot of times. So I was frustrated as it is. But when I started doing my thing in the clubs in Boston, Bruno was like, "Yo, I'm gonna pay you to judge the DJ battle."
Wow.
And he gave me like $500 or some crazy. Maybe it was like $400, $300, who knows? But I remember the winner of the DJ battle got like $150.
You won.
like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's
do this
sick.
How am I getting paid more to judge?
That's awesome, yeah.
Just take it. No questions, please.
Spell my name right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
dope.
Actually, yeah. So I don't know if you were there at this time, but at Bill's Bar, when he was saying they did a lot of underground stuff. That's the first time Eminem came to Boston was at
that's
at Bill's
amazing.
Bar. Yeah.
It was at Bill's? I thought it was at the Middle East.
No, just to come. Well, maybe it was after party
maybe
after the
after-
yeah. It was after party maybe after the Middle East. Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah,
Well-
that makes sense.
We'll go with this one. Crates the store.
Yeah, man, that was my record store for. I mean, we had the office for a long time, show off marketing and Indie Pro.
Mm-hmm.
But Crates was a thing that lasted from, I want to say July 1st, 2003 to July 1st, 2004. As soon as it was over, I was out of there. It was like I was over.
Where was that? Was that
Was it
in,
an actual brick and mortar store?
Yeah,
It was 418 Tremont Street.
It was next.
Oh, wow.
It was
Yeah,
next to a
yeah,
pizza
yeah.
shop, right?
It was the record pool, New England DJ Association.
I remember
Indie Pro.
Indie Pro.
It was.
Indie Pro
It was.
too, yeah.
Next to Roma Pizza.
What? Eddie Q. No.
Yeah, Eddie Q was my partner in show off marketing.
Awesome.
And then they had the record pool in the back. And the front of the store, we just had so many records. And Eddie Q, rest in peace to his mother, she passed away and she had a whole house full of all the records Eddie was getting through all the 90s.
Wow.
Really?
So we had like literally every 12-inch an album that came out from like 90 to 2003.
That's
it was
crazy.
bananas.
And not
so
only
we
that,
took the
but,
collection and chopped it up, sold it.
So it was.
Not even
was
that,
cool.
but there's probably like mad promo pressings that
Oh, yeah,
you could
no,
that are like
yeah,
that are
Lazy
like
Boy stole
limited.
half of
Yeah,
them. Shout
yeah.
to Lazy Boy.
Such a lazy boy. Lazy boy.
Yeah,
Lazy
yeah,
Boy
yeah.
has half
Yo.
of them in his house right now.
We
The
were
illest
just
hoarder in
talking
the
about
world.
you.
We were Braun and Lazy. We
I was
just
with
talking about
Braun
that.
and Lazy Boy. They're taking
He's
me
the
out.
biggest hoarder I've ever met in my life.
So
They're taking me to Nantucket in a couple weeks.
So
I don't know what to
speaking
expect.
of records, do you still have your collection, or what do you do with it? Storage, or
I mean, I probably have a tenth of what I used to have, but I have
Right.
a lot of records in the studio.
do you
Like,
use that a lot for in terms of production and producing new records and things like that?
I
Do you-
still spend a couple $1,000s a month on records just for sampling.
Amazing.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's
And where do
amazing.
you have these? At your studio?
Yeah, so there's this dude named Gene Brown. He's kind of like the dealer to the stars. Like he sells to Pete Rock, DITC. Like he sold a lot of stuff to Pharrell and Kanye, Q-Tip. But I'm like still buying them the way they used to. So like I'm still going crazy. I spent like $2,200 last week on a stack from him that I've already made into some. But like I probably did 3 records on my new album with those already. Like it's all worth it to me.
Yeah, it is. It's got to be.
So you mentioned all those big names and everything, and you've done obviously, again, the most for hip hop and things like that. Has there ever been a person that you wanted to work with that you haven't yet? I know you just said
That's a good
Q-Tip
question,
and Pharrell and stuff like that. Has there ever been a person that you looked up to? I knew you looked up to Premier, and Premier's like it's how close you are to him. Has there ever been somebody that you've looked up to that you haven't worked with yet?
I mean, obviously, I want a record with Jay. I signed to Rock Nation 5 years ago, but it was like I still haven't got that record that I wanted to get. So hopefully it happens on this 2 Chainz album. I know it's a conversation. If we get him, that's going to be the last feature because the album's done. I know he's working
Breaking
on something.
news.
I mean,
Sick.
Jay-Z is like the ultimate for me. I mean, I've worked with Eminem, Nas, everybody else you could possibly think of.
Sure.
So either Jay or Kendrick. I haven't got to work with Kendrick yet.
Dope.
I worked with everybody else in Black Hippie.
Did you see the? Did you watch the Louis Vuitton thing that he did?
I seen parts of it.
That was
God,
fucking dope.
it made me emotional. It was so beautiful, dude. It really was,
Yeah.
man.
Wait till you hear Joey's album, man. Kendrick I think he's gonna win album of the year at the Grammys, like overall. But when people hear this Joey album and this 2 Chainz album, I'm getting 2 nominations.
That's what I told. No, that's what I told. That's what I told him. We were playing together a couple weeks ago at Somewhere Nowhere, and I said, I think this is when Statik's gonna get this Grammy, dude. What's up, Harley?
Hey, Harley. So going in that kind of stuff. Let's get into 1982.
Yep.
Oh, what a great year.
Year. Well, he has a question for you, actually. You did 1982. Well, that's, the thing.
1982 is kind of me and Term's version of Gangstar.
Right.
We were both born in the same hospital in the same year, which is bugged out because we didn't meet till we were 16.
And rest in peace.
And I gotta say, rest in peace to Term's father passed last night.
Yeah, rest in peace.
So let me say this: 1982. We do a lot of things with years. You had the 2000. Right?
What?
The 2000. Was it a record or?
No, 2012.
I know, but you do a lot of things with years. Like 1982, you did 2000. You did
2000's Joey's thing because
Okay, all right,
he did
sorry,
1999. Yeah. No,
Well-
the 1982 is a group.
No, I know, I understand that. But did you have influence on Joey naming it
Oh yeah,
off
that's
of
a great
you
question.
off of you doing 1982 with Term?
Nah, I don't think so. He called it 1999. I mean, he was 4 years old in 1999, so Joey has a whole way of explaining it.
Okay, all right. I just didn't know that. So give us the rundown on Term. Amazing. Lawrence, Massachusetts. One of the I think legendary people from this area. So yeah, give us 1982.
So me and Term met at a club in Hampton Beach. I used to do an under 21 club there back in. This was like 98. And he used to come up to me at the end of the night every night. Like we do an open mic and he would rap every night. He'd be like, I want to battle Mr. Liff. I want to battle this person, all these people. And, he was just this kid from Lawrence. And then that next school year, I remember I don't remember how we used to communicate. We used to have to call each other's house because
On
there
the
was
phone,
no
yeah. A landline, dude. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like we would call the landline and like be like, hey, want to do a sleepover? And I go stay at his house and make beats.
Or you guys page each other.
Yeah, it was like he used to come up to my mom's crib and like
That's amazing.
we just had a bond over hip hop, and then we kind of had a like I said, it was hard to communicate. So when I graduated high school and went to Boston and moved downtown, I didn't talk to Term for at least probably 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I seen he was doing his thing, putting out records with a kid named DC. So he had this exclusive, forget who got it to me, but he gave me a record when I was like, now I'm killing it with the mixtapes. This is like 2002.
Sure.
And I put it on my tape, and I remember Method Man hosted it.
Wow.
And Term was hype. So we talked, and then, at this point, there's like MySpace and all that, or Friendster, some of that.
MySpace.
But we, when I moved to New York, that's when I started to see, like, he would come down and stay at my crib, run around the city.
Yeah.
We'd be in Premier's ear trying to get him a Primo beat we tried to get him a Primo beat for so long. And finally in 2006, we got Watch Out Go Down. I finessed that, and it ended up being like, that's a classic, man. Like, it was such a big deal when we shot the video, and everybody in Boston came out for it. We had Edo in the video and Suge.
Amazing.
7 Ounce with Tarek. Everybody came through. And that record just like was like an international underground hit. Like Term was getting booked all over the world off that one song with Primo.
It's amazing.
Beautiful.
And we just kept it going. After that, I started putting on my albums and putting him on records with people like Q-Tip and Saigon, and just aligning him with certain things. And that was like my road dog. And man, here we are so many years later.
So amazing. So amazing. And
Still in the game
so
many years later,
so amazing.
let alone.
What made you move? Or what was the decision in your head that you said, New Hampshire, Boston, I got to do New York? Or was it a proposal from a serious radio that you had to
Nah,
move
it
here?
had nothing to do with any of that. It was
What was it?
I've been going to New York since I was a kid, like buying records at Fat Beats and Rock and
Shout out
Soul.
to Fat Beats, yeah.
So I was always going to New York, and it was like my plan to go straight to New York when I graduated. But I had a girlfriend last year of high school. Even though we broke up before, I just started making my decisions around. I wanted to, I had a love for Boston too. Like I grew up going to Boston, so it was like I wanted to do my thing there first, and it was humbling going there because I got humbled really quick when I got there. I was DJing a lot when I was in high school,
Right.
and when I moved downtown Boston, nobody gave a fuck. Like I had to start over, and I was killing it up at the beaches, doing like parties in Lowell and Lawrence and all that.
Sure, yeah.
Nobody gave a fuck, so I had to like start from scratch again.
Yeah.
I started doing street team stuff, meeting labels through that. Shout out to Metro Concepts, which was my first job at Boston. And then getting in with Bruno and getting in with Eddie Q and getting in with all the promoters out there.
Sure.
And, at the same time, I was watching 617 come up. Like
Absolutely, yeah.
they were, I would see them outside Northeastern passing out flyers.
Flyers all day, yeah. How come you never, in every DJ now, even Flex does, Latin parties and top 40 parties and things like that. How come you've never strayed from hip hop? Is it a decision that you made that you love it so much that you never went?
It's funny because I do mad parties and play like disco and house music and all that. It's just my name is so synonymous with the sound of my music.
All right,
that
I fucked that whole one up. Never mind.
Nah, it's all love.
No, but I think like Bobby Condors or something that doesn't stray from reggae. I think of you as not straying from hip hop. I mean, I guess you proved me wrong, but yeah. I think of you as hip hop. I think of Bobby Condors reggae. I think
Because it's just the brand. It's the brand. And
Well,
I mean,
you
people
branded
come
it
up to
right.
me at clubs sometimes and they're like, damn, I thought you were going to play the new Action Bronson. And I'm like, bro, this club is not about that. I'm playing,
No. Yeah.
I'm playing reggae and I'm playing this or that. Like I grew up playing reggae and some house and I'll do whatever. But if I get booked as Static on a festival stage,
Yeah.
I'm doing hip hop.
Of course.
Like last weekend I did Queens. We had like 5,000 people in the park. And Action's like, yo, switch it up. Just basically saying what you're saying. He's like, don't just do hippity hop. Bro, I went through every genre of music and the whole crowd went crazy. Like,
That's awesome.
So speaking of which, we haven't mentioned, which is probably my intro to you and everything like that, Show Off. And Show Off to me, in the past, when did Show Off start?
it started in
With Beat?
2000,
Yeah.
like 2002, 2003 is Show Off Marketing.
You,
Because I wanted to like
you,
own.
B, who else?
Yeah, shout out to Bedlam. Eddie was my partner for a couple of years in that. We had a whole team. We had interns. So then I started putting out vinyl with remixes in like 03, 04. And then it became a thing when we started putting out more music. So Show Off Records started in 2006 with Term's first album and Granite State's album.
So, I don't think you've ever met B.
Nah.
One of the greatest guys ever. The greatest guys ever. He is, if you say like a hustler for things, he's in everything you need him to be. He is the person that will text you, come to this. He has a mind of its own that does creative things.
Is he like
beyond,
that guy that has a guy for that thing?
No, he's so creative.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
creative. He does these events that are so creative that you wouldn't think of it. As a promoter,
Yeah.
as being in the industry for 20 years, he comes up with these events that are so creative. And obviously his partner and everything like that. And I salute that guy. That guy I love him so much. Yeah. He's like a great, great man. And I'm sure you can attest to that.
We met up going to clubs and all that. And then he started doing marketing through my street team company and all that.
Yeah.
And like, he was just my right-hand man for years. And I'm proud of that dude, man. He really has his place in history up there. He even moved to New York and did some shit in New York for a little while.
Sure.
But I think his heart is in Boston, and he just
100%. He's so Boston.
New York's a tough town if you're coming from
there's a
out
lot
of
for
town.
artists
Man.
up there too.
New York is hard to beat sometimes when you're coming from another place, man. It's a hard city. It beats you down, dude.
So now that Static corrected me and he plays other
Thank
things.
you for that, Static.
Let me ask you one question, then we'll go to the next segment.
On the table.
Drake album.
The Drake album,
Yeah.
I love it. He made a house album, man.
Yeah.
That's pushing the limits. Like if he called it a hip hop album, we'd have an issue. But he don't call it that.
No, he's saying it is. He's calling
No,
it.
but
It
it's
is
not
what it
even
is.
in the. This is why I'm happy for it, because I want people like Post Malone and people like that to take notes, because when I see Post Malone get Hip Hop Artist of the Year at the Billboard Awards, that shit is whack. He's a pop artist.
He's definitely
I
a
love
pop artist. Yes.
I love his music. He's a pop artist.
Yeah.
Do not label that hip hop, man. That's why we're losing.
Agreed.
Like that could have gone to someone that really deserved it.
Well, this is a
Drake made a whole house album and it's labeled as dance music is amazing.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. We were talking about this before. How this is a good question that we've discussed on the show before. Is do you think there should be subgenres of hip hop now that it's changed so much throughout the years? Like rock music has heavy metal now and all these subgenres. You know what I mean?
I think there is subgenres. I mean, people,
but no, recognized by like.
I just don't like when they label shit that ain't hip hop.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, as far as the Grammys and all the awards, seeing it just as hip hop, you know, it should be subcategorized. I believe
the Grammys has been pretty spot on for the last couple of years. I've been real happy that Nas got his Grammy finally.
Yeah.
Happy that Gibbs is up for a Grammy. There's just like the nominations have been pretty hip hop, man. I like that. It's not like they were like giving them to like Little Pump and people like that before. At least now they got some like choices.
So when we're speaking of hip hop artists, and a lot of people will talk about Grammys and stuff, and people get recognition. Can you name? And you've done so much for so many artists. Can you name like 5 artists that you don't think get recognition as
they should?
5.
I mean, you mentioned a couple when it was funny because you said Saigon. I mean, you said some other people. I think what's his name married to? He used to be under K Slay.
Papoose?
Yes.
Oh, Papoose.
Papoose
Remy
is
Martin.
one of them.
Okay, give me 4 more.
I mean, for what Term's done for so many artists,
Love
man.
that. Love that.
Artists,
Buckshot. Papoose.
I mean, Buckshot's a hip hop legend. So when I say him, I just mean I don't think people understand the things he's done with Duck Down and like trying to. Duck Down's just done so much to help artists, and even like artists like Young M.A. are signed to them, and people don't even know that.
Wow.
So it's like, you know, shout out to Buck.
How long were you with Ducktown?
I put out 5 albums with them. 8 Population Control, What Goes Around, and Extended Play. Yeah. Shout out to Duckdown, man. That's family.
Give me a couple more though. Give me a couple more that never got.
I mean, Capital Steez, man. Rest in peace. He passed away like right when he was about to take off. It was one of the biggest. Just such a loss, man. He was. You know, I came into the pro era fold right as they were taking off, and I got to work with him on some songs, and then right away, it's just a horrible story. If we're gonna say that, we gotta say Big L too.
Big L for sure. He was about to he was about to pop at that time also. But he was already popping, but he was about to take it to that.
He was about to be like he's a legend for us hip hop fans, but he would have been like on a different level if like the mainstream got to really see what he was like.
I have a fun question.
Give it.
What to you was the difference between Fat Beats and Rock and Soul? And which one had more of an influence on you?
Wow.
On the music I make, Fat Beats had more.
Of course, I know that. But coming up, like before
honestly,
you
both
were
equal.
Yeah,
both equal.
Really?
Because I go to Rock and Soul to get the club records and they had those bootlegs with like
shout out to Ruben,
big, like 70s and 80s records.
To get the
Instead
book.
of carrying a crate full of old 80s records that were mastered horribly, you'd have the bootleg. A loud version.
Yep. And they had like 6 or 8 different songs on
Yeah.
it. Shout out to
Yeah.
Ruben. Ruben used to always hand me the book over there. Ruben was the man at Rock and Soul. We're
So-
trying to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, we're trying to get him on.
We
yeah.
want to hear the story behind the bootlegs, like, you know what I mean?
Killer Cuts and all that.
Yeah,
I used to-
yeah.
I was involved in some of those, but I can't really talk about
I
that.
heard Braun mentioned something when he was on the show before about you guys having a connect for bootlegs and stuff in the Boston area for sure. It was
Yeah.
fun.
So we'll talk about this. You mentioned Nas earlier. What was it like the first time? Obviously, Nas, to me, icon, everything. To you, icon, everything. What was like the first time meeting him and working with him?
It was dope. I mean, the first time I met him was probably back in Boston, but second time I met him was in New York, and I was doing my thing with the mixtapes. So when he seen the tape I had, he was like, "How do you have this song on it? The tape set up for the new song."
Does that make you?
And it
Did it
wasn't
make
out
you
yet.
feel
So he
uncomfortable?
was
It
like,
was
"How'd you do
pressing?
that?" And then I had him do some drops for my mixtape, and I did this mixtape called The Prophecy, and it was all unreleased Nas stuff, blends, all that.
Wow.
And I had later seen him at Premiere Studio in like 05, a year later. And Nas was like, "Yo, you made my favorite mixtape ever." He's like, "No one ever made a tape like that for me."
Holy
So he
God,
was
that's
like,
amazing.
Are you
that was the
shitting me?
ultimate. No, it was everything. And I was in the studio with him in Premiere. And I was the reason they were both there. I was really on Premiere for a while, like, get Nas over here. So one night he just called him and was like, "Yo, I'm in the studio, pull up."
Wow,
And
that's fucking
30 minutes
amazing.
later, Nas walked in. So it was crazy.
Yeah, that's so
Now,
amazing, dude.
it's a long story, so I'm gonna fast forward through it. So fast forward another year, I had the Jay-Z and Nas Black Republicans, and nobody had that. So I did a whole mixtape. It was a big deal. There's a longer story behind it, but basically I dropped the mixtape, and it was like people were like, "What the fuck?" Like it was like one of the biggest exclusives ever, the first Jay-Z Nas record.
Right.
So I get a phone call, and someone tells me that Nas is looking for me, and I'm like, "Oh shit, here we go."
It's dope.
So I just went straight to the source, man. I called Nas' manager, Mike Brinkley, and he's like, "Yo, Nas wants you to do his new mixtape because
Oh,
the
that's
buzz
fine.
off this shit."
No
So I ended
way.
up doing The Prophecy 2, and that was official. Def Jam printed up like 80,000 copies of the tape and gave them out around the world.
That's amazing. So when you moved to New York, right, and everything so we're talking about you said 04, 05, right?
Oh, for yeah.
Yeah. 04, 05. Everybody on the block was selling.
August 04. That's when
So
I moved.
everybody was selling mixtapes on the block. What was it like when you would go to the block and it'd be like Craig G, fucking K Slay,
SNS.
SNS, everything like that?
Who
And
Kid.
Yeah, Who Kid. And seeing your mixtape like along with those like people selling on the block. Well,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
cool was that? Yeah.
That's an era that we'll never see again.
It was such a beautiful era too.
It was an honor for cats like K Slay and Who Kid to give me exclusives during that time or give me drops or all that.
Do you,
Drama. I watched Drama's whole come up. Like,
Yep.
do you think
dope.
do you think mixtapes made hip hop the bootleg mixtapes make hip hop better for the expression of it, or better for like
Was it
Yeah.
better
Was it
for the
better?
community? Yeah.
the
a lot
community?
of artists wouldn't still
or
be
the-
around if they didn't have all that time to like just wild out and do what they wanted during that era.
So you think
Like this-
mixtapes spread the word of hip hop better than any other like
source.
station?
Yeah,
any,
yeah.
like
Absolutely.
Kiss 108 or Jamming or whatever.
Because there's songs that they could put on mixtapes that they could never have on radio.
And they landed in corners of the world that never even heard this shit. So it's like, this is pre-internet. Like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
mixtape
That's the
was
only
never-
way.
Yeah.
Are you big in Japan?
Oh, you probably like a superstar.
Into
in
what?
Japan.
I
You're
said,
like
are you
probably a
big in Ja-
superstar
are you
in
big in
Japan.
Japan?
Oh yeah.
So speaking of which, we're gonna do it like it's called This or That, and we'll do a little this or that to this.
All right, you ready?
You ready?
Yeah.
Korean barbecue or Peter Luger's?
Korean barbecue.
All day?
I'm literally about to do it outside. I have a Korean barbecue grill in my house.
No, you don't. Do you?
Good.
Yes, I do.
I'll be over there tomorrow
yeah, yeah.
afternoon.
Boston NYC.
Setup.
Yeah, that's a setup. That wasn't fair,
different
bro.
reasons.
What the
For different
fuck?
reasons, both.
Yeah,
But
definitely,
How
man.
about this? All right, Boston sports for life. But as a city, New York City, come on, it's the greatest city in the world.
I like that. Let's see. You ready? This is gonna be hard. Jay-Z, Nas.
Can't do that, man. Sign to both of them. I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Man, you got this is a setup, bro. You're like getting
No,
like,
the next one's even worse. Alchemist Premiere.
oh, we can't even go.
It's two different things.
Yeah. Man, who wrote these questions? I did not write these questions, Static. Please do not hold this against me, my man.
I mean, you didn't invent this, bro. I've done a million interviews where they did the same thing, and I was like, I ain't doing that.
Hell no.
Turntable CDJs.
That's a good one.
Turntables.
I know, but that's an easy question. We had turntables last time we were playing.
What needle do you use? The M44s?
I like to, but nowadays it's hard to get them.
Well, we were using phase.
Motherfuckers
Yeah.
be breaking them.
Yeah.
I got a stash
I'm sure you do. I mean,
from Bergata. They had like tons that they weren't using anymore.
I actually I like Ortofons a lot because you can like be rough with them and bang them up and they can get thrown around and shit.
The Ortofons used to put in my bag without the cover over them. They never went wrong, bro.
When you were coming up, 14 to 17 years old, hip hop guy, 3 DJs that you thought were.
Oh, that's a good question.
Premier, Funk Flex, and Kid Capri were like my biggest influences.
Oh, Kid Capri is like my fucking favorites.
And
as far as,
Kubert's like right there.
Kubert, yeah, but he was like in a totally different lane.
He was an alien.
Yo, he speaks to aliens.
Kubert came and picked me up in San Francisco at like 4 a.m. just to go back crib and scratch for an hour, and then brought me back to the bus. Like he's like just all he does is love scratching, and I love that.
That's amazing.
I love that. All those dudes, Cut Chemist, all those dudes would be amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
So, are you coming up? Friday for Joey Badass?
Nah, I don't think I am, man. I got a lot going on here, and I'm catching up. Yo, this album has been very.
It's a little bit delayed. Can we go on that?
Yeah, speak on that because we don't want to keep you too long.
When's this coming out? When's this coming out?
Next Monday.
All right, so the album's coming out July 22nd.
Dope.
We're dropping a single every week until then.
Love that.
But Friday for the first, while he's in Boston, he's dropping the second single off the album. I did the first one and I did the second one as well. It's called Where I Belong. So the fans gonna be happy. The album's incredible. We spent a lot of time on it. Young Guru mixed it.
Can I interrupt you real quick? I met Young Guru last week at Pusha T show. I love that guy.
Yeah, his artist Ruben Vincent's dope. That's why I was there.
Yeah, all right, cool. Can we shout out some other people, Static? I mean, you're 2-3 decades into this. You've been an absolute legend, you've made hip hop, and I will attest to this, that you've made hip hop what it is today. Obviously, when we talked about different genres of hip hop, this is trap and this is this and that. You are hip hop, and we appreciate you like so much in what you have done and what you've kept to hip hop and
what you've done for the culture.
I hope this
the culture alone.
We're gonna have to do a documentary on my old crib in Bushwick because that was the time that like was allowing things like Griselda and the new wave now. Like that was the work we were putting in there when it started with Term and then Rex and Sky Zoo, and then all of a sudden, boom, Mac Miller's coming around, Action Bronson, Freddie Gibbs, Joey Badass,
Sean P too, right?
Sean P was there during all of it, and all these artists are coming to my crib like early in their career. Not Sean, obviously, but everybody else.
Yeah,
and like Joey's first mixtape was done in the crib. Like Gibbs' first mixtape was done in the crib.
That's why you had to go to New York because none of that would have happened.
Shit was at my crib. Like all that shit. Like help build this indie wave that now you got the Griseldas, and even Rock Marcy used to be over there, like kind of frustrated with everything. And now look at Rock Marcy's like one of the. And then we did the rap camp out in LA at Alchemist Crib, and I'd bring Action over there, and Kendrick would be there, and then Schoolboy Q, and then Mac would be going over there, and Migos would be there with Mac. Like so many names came together in these like 2 spots.
So speaking of which, we went to. Benny the Butcher did this. I thought it was one of the best hip hop shows I've seen. He went with me.
Yeah, Benny was great, man. Shout out to Griselda.
We're gonna finish this off, and we've taken way too much time. I know you got Harley and everything over there.
I'm literally about to have a barbecue in 5 minutes.
A Korean barbecue?
You couldn't wait till tomorrow, man.
A Korean barbecue?
You couldn't wait till tomorrow?
Oh, look at that. Oh, wow.
I'm heading to New York tomorrow, man.
Can you give us?
Wait, hold on. I want some Korean barbecue, bro.
Can you give us one story, right, where you went into the studio and they called you and it was crazy and everything, and you woke up the next morning and you said, like, this is what I fucking did it. Like,
this week.
Tell me.
Last Wednesday, bro.
Tell me.
I DJ'd a party at Sweet Chick. Left the studio, went to the studio and did a song with Mary J. Blige and 2 Chainz, and it might be the best song I've ever done.
Yeah, man. I love that.
Yeah.
The Queen.
Mary J. sounds like it's the My Life album, and 2 Chainz might be his best verse ever.
I'm excited to hear this 2 Chainz album because Statik and I behind the scenes have been talking about it for a while now, I feel like you are having these conversations with you. I feel like you are super excited about it, man. So I'm excited about hearing.
I'm excited about Joey's and 2 Chainz, man, because I did like 70% of Joey's album, but 2 Chainz shit I did every song.
That's amazing.
Well, there's nothing better. We appreciate you. You're a legend.
Also, let them know where they can find you real quick.
Let them know where they can find you.
Shave 45 Thursday nights. I got my 10th studio album on the way, probably in September, October. And shout out to Mass Appeal. I'm on Mass Appeal Records now. Show off Mass Appeal.
Love it.
Shout out to Beantown, man. Look, that answers a lot right there.
Oh wow, you're the boss of give us your Instagram.
At Statik Select, no C's, K's. And I mean, people know how to find me, man.
Spell my name right. Spell my name right. We really appreciate this. Thank you so much. Absolute legend.
Yeah, man. Statik, thank you for your time. Enjoy your barbecue and time with the fam. I'm going to hit you tomorrow. I'm going to be in New York for like 2 days.
Hit me, man.
All right, brother. Peace.
Peace.
Once again, amazing interview with Statik.
I loved it
so much.
Yeah, man.
Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Follow us on social. He is
Jason Smith Music.
And I am
Jeff London _
And we are. I'm the promoter. He's the DJ.
That's right. Catch us. Peace, y'all. Thanks.
Okay, I'm reloaded.
Jeff London, DJ Jason Smith.
Here come the pain.